Jake here for American Muscle, and today I'm taking a look at the C&L non-adjustable rear lower control arms in blue, fitting 2005 to 2014 Mustangs. If you can't put power to the ground, then let's face it, well, you're not going anywhere. And if your S197 is in need of an injection of additional traction or is suffering from a lot of rear wheel hop, a set of these lower control arms are going to prove very helpful for you. These are a bolt-in solution that will help you put down power much more easily for a very reasonable price. Can't really go anywhere if you're unable to reliably transfer power to the ground, and if you've got axle hop on launches, well, you know all about that. One way to combat that issue is a set of upgraded rear lower control arms like these ones from C&L. Now these have some additional strength baked in versus your stock arms, and they include new polyurethane bushings as well to help clean up any slop or play that you might have going on down there. These bushings are also greasable, and to help extend their life and keep away noise, you've got Zerk fittings on top of each one right here, so you can easily just pop the fitting on, grease them up, and be on your way. Those bushings are also much stiffer than the OEM spec rubber ones, so whether you're out on the drag strip or the race circuit, these are going to help keep the rear axle more planted versus those stock control arms. The thick steel and these poly bushings combine to give you more grip, better overall traction, and more control, so you'll have an easier time putting power down from a dead stop or coming out of a corner. This is really an easy modification that will definitely make an improvement on how your car puts its power down to the ground. It's going to keep things planted, making that power transfer much smoother and easier, and it's not going to sacrifice the ride quality either. Now, we also have these in red, should that be more your style, and everything is the same between the two, so just pick your favorite color and buy that one. Construction here is also a highlight, and the arms themselves are made from a high-strength, heavy-duty boxed steel tubing for added strength and durability versus those stock arms. And the whole arm, again, is coated in this really nice dark blue powder coat, so for added protection against the elements, and really just looking good too. And the bushings, as we already discussed, are made from polyurethane, which is again stronger, stiffer, and much more durable than the stock rubber bushings. And again, they can be greased using these Zerk fittings on either end. Pricing is also a big win, coming in at just about $150 for the set. That makes these one of the least expensive options in the category, and while you're not getting adjustability here, these are still going to be an improvement over your stock setup, and they won't ruin the ride of your car or your bank account. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you about 2 hours to complete. Now you will have to get under the car and pull out some pretty hefty bolts to get these in, but they are a straight swap for your stock ones. And a bolt-in process doesn't require any modifications to your car, of course. The only thing you'll want to do afterwards is get the car aligned to keep everything tracking straight and true. And with that, let's throw it over to one of our AM customers who's going to show you what this process will look like.
During this installation removal, you could have used hand tools. I did a little bit quicker using some impacts. 3/8 air ratchet with an 18mm socket, torque wrench with a 18mm socket, a grease gun that has marine grade grease in it, small quarter inch to tighten the Zerks when you have it, a pair of pliers, a vice grip that you see I actually use that to pull the parking brake cable mechanism back. You could have used a screwdriver for that also. Hello, I'm Bob Huffman. We're going to be putting some C&L lower control arms on this 2009 Mustang today. First thing we got to do is take the tires. We're just going to hold this diff up so it doesn't sag down. We don't want to put all the weight of the rear differential on the shocks. So when we drop these lower control arms, we have that for support. Take these bolts out with the washers on the back side. Now to remove the front bolts off of here, we can't use the impact gun. There's not enough room. I really don't like putting a swivel on an impact gun. Things go flying across the shop if you do that, so use a 3/8 air ratchet. Go to the other side, do the same thing. Move the 18mm bolt. You notice that the parking brake cable is going through one of the holes in the center of the lower control arm, so we need to detach the parking brake cable, which we can't do this by having a hoist in the way here, right? We still have the upper control arm attached, so that's taking a lot of the weight also, so the shocks aren't taking all the brunt of that. So we're going to come in here, we're going to force this parking brake cable downward. Let me get this retaining clip out of the way down here. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier to pull this cable. You can get a camera down here and we can see the clip that I'm removing. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and pull the parking brake cable through. Go over the other side and do the same thing. Again, we've got to remove the retaining clip. Okay. And then we've got this one removed. We're going to go over to the table where we've got the new control arms. So we've got the instructions here. And this is kind of important. It kind of shows the steps we did to remove this. The one thing that you're going to notice about these new C&L lower control arms is they have an offset here. And if you look at the picture, it's showing the offset going towards the center, towards the differential itself. So we're going to install these Zerk fittings that come with the lower control arms. When you go to tighten these Zerks up, you just snug them. You got to remember they're just very soft metal going into a pre-tapped hole. And we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of this grease, and what we have here is what they call marine grease. I'm going to put a little bit on the face of this polyurethane bushing. If you don't do this, you might hear a little bit of squeaking coming from the rear end as you're going over bumps. That's the rear of the car bounces up and down. Just a thin film is all we need. And we're going to wait till we install the control arms before we grease it. The grease zerks will go towards the bottom so you can access it to grease it. Looking at this, knowing that the offset needs to go into the inside, we're going to take this over to the passenger rear side, I'm sorry, to the driver's rear side of the car. And we're going to go ahead and grab this 18mm bolt. Again, we're going to verify that our offset's towards the inside of the vehicle. And you're going to notice that this is going to fit kind of tight. What you're going to want to do there is go ahead and spread that open just a hair. An adjustable wrench, you could actually use an adjustable wrench for this, or a pair of vice grips. We're simply just going to come right here, snap it, and kind of pull it out a little bit. And you notice that slides in a little bit easier. We're not going to tighten any of these bolts all the way down yet. Just going to get everything started. And the reason why we're not going to tighten these down yet is because we want to have this differential, what I would call loaded, where the weight of this differential and the whole car is on the weight of the vehicle. If we don't do that, we could have an issue with how these control arms are loaded. I'm actually going to lift right on the front of the differential to get that rear differential to roll. You notice it's rolling forward. And here we're a little bit too far. So I just dropped that rear differential down just a hair to line us right back up. Now that we're lined up, I'm going to go ahead and get the whole differential. We're going to lift this up. And if you're on the ground, you're going to be watching your jack stand. But since we're on the hoist, I'm going to be watching where my rear pads are at on this hoist. And I'm going to lift it just where that car barely starts to come off that pad. And what I've done now is I've loaded those control arms to the right height that we're going to be at. Now we're going to grab our air ratchet. And we're going to torque these to spec. And now we're going to go ahead and grease these dirt fittings. We're going to take our emergency or parking brake cable. We're going to come across the top. Repeat that process. Come on top of the control arm. Get a good close-up view of what we're doing here with this clip. And the install of that set of lower control arms is complete.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the C&L non-adjustable rear lower control arms in blue, fitting 2005 to 2014 Mustangs. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.